And Ashley is coming up this morning. I think as you'll hear her story, you'll see how God has been working in her life, writing her story, and she's seeing how he's leading her in this time. So we want you guys to be able to hear this. So thanks, Ashley.
Thanks, Ryan. Good morning. I feel like this is a day late and a dollar short, but y'all should know I hate public speaking. I just do it because there's a need. So that's my caveat. Have grace, please. So Ryan and the guys asked me to share about my family, but a story that's bigger than my family. So my favorite family Christmas tradition is a newer one. And I know some of you are like, it's August. Why are we talking about Christmas, Ashley? It'll make sense in a minute. So this tradition started a few years ago when I sewed coordinating Christmas stockings for my sister's family. And then it's continued every year since. And when I'm lucky, I get a phone call 2 weeks before Christmas. When I'm less likely, it comes the week of Christmas. But in any case, I get the call. Ellen, my sister, wants to know how busy I am, and do I have a lot going on with the holidays, and Advent and Christmas Eve at church. And oh, by the way, she and her husband are taking in an additional foster child right before the holidays. So could I maybe sew them a stocking that coordinates with everybody else's? And yes, of course, I'm always going to do that. So I learn the child's favorite colors and what they like and how old they are. And then I go to the fabric store, which is, really asking a lot of me to go to a fabric store. Everything on my to-do list ends up abandoned, so I can sew this stocking, and then I spend approximately $3 bazillion to rush ship it to Nashville, so it gets there before Christmas Eve, so that they not only have a stocking on Christmas morning, but they have a stocking a few days before, hanging up with the rest of the families. My sister and brother-in-law are currently the public face of foster care in my family, but it's not new to us in any way. My Aunt Susan and Uncle David were adopted from foster care as young children. They'd been separated from other siblings, but the state insisted they be adopted together. And then my mom grew up and went on to be part of the foster care review boards in Iowa and Wisconsin, back when the court systems were first experimenting with them. Foster care is a fulfillment of the hospitality to the utmost, welcoming, loving, and protecting a stranger to the point of making them family. If you don't know, I currently live in Sarasota, but I'm in the process of moving back to Pinellas County. When that's all said and done, my goal is to complete the licensure process to become a foster parent myself. For as long as I can remember, I've had a love of foster care and adoption. In college, I learned about the epidemic of kids aging out of foster care. They turn 18, and either reunification hasn't been accomplished or parental rights were terminated, but they were never adopted. Because of the misconceptions of trauma, it's easier to find foster and adoptive homes for children that are young, cute, and generally Caucasian. I volunteered at the time with an organization that helps these kids aging out of foster care to transition to independent adulthood with specific focuses on preventing homelessness, which is a major problem, and making college accessible. And at the time, I also decided that I specifically wanted to work with middle and high school youth most likely to experience this. Foster care in our country is hard. There's almost double the number of kids in care as there are homes to take them. There's just not enough. And of the families who do open their home, approximately 50% will close their doors within a year, citing most often due to the lack of support. In Florida's Sixth Circuit, which is Pinellas and Pasco counties, it's more than a 4-to-1 ratio of kids to homes available. And in Florida, 60% of kids in foster care end up aging out of the system. While foster care is hard, there's a common misconception around it. It doesn't take a special person to foster. It just takes a willing person. And to be clear, it's much harder to be a kid in foster care than it is to be a foster parent. Last summer, my sister sent me an Instagram post with the news that one of her favorite organizations was expanding into Florida. Foster the Family works to support and encourage foster and adoptive families, mobilize and equip the community and church for foster care and adoption, and advocate for vulnerable children. And funny enough, they launched their first Florida office in the 12th Judicial Circuit, which is Manatee, DeSoto, and Sarasota counties, right where I live. I signed up to help and have been an official volunteer with them since October. I deliver placement packages to kids entering care, babysit at monthly respite care nights, and periodically help with their family events. Foster the Family also provides support groups and trainings for foster and adoptive parents. Foster the Family recognizes that not everyone can foster, but we are all called to care for the vulnerable, welcome the stranger, and defend the fatherless. And coming along foster families at the front lines of this mission is a way for everyone to join the mission. In the coming weeks, you're going to hear more about Foster Family because they're expanding this time into Pinellas and Pasco counties. And what's got me really excited is that we at Gulf Coast are going to partner with them. Foster the Family's work aligns with our missional priorities of gospel mercy and gospel outreach. I can't wait until they're on our back wall with our missional partners. Google Maps tells me my home in Sarasota is 783 miles from my sister. Unfortunately, that's just a little too far for me to be in my nieces' and nephews' lives as much as I'd like. It's also about 40 miles from St. Pete, the place where I know I have the support system and network to sustainably foster. So for now, while I'm in the south end of our area, I sew last-minute Christmas stockings and deliver care packages and snuggle babies. I'm not changing the entire world, but I am having an impact on my neighborhood. Jamie Finn, the founder of Foster the Family, says, "I could be sitting on the sidelines in blissful ignorance of the brokenness that surrounds me, enjoying the wholeness of a sweet and sheltered life, missing out on the beauty of breaking off pieces of my heart and my life to make another whole." This fall, would you prayerfully consider how you can get off the sidelines when it comes to foster care? You might not be called to foster a child. That's okay. But can you be part of the village that surrounds kids in care, fostering the whole family?